Now, last but not least, I wanted to do another Mad Max mod dev diary. This one should be relatively short because I have some good news and I have, well, not so much bad news, just not much in the way of news in general here. I've had some other family issues I've had to deal with, so for a while I was not on to taking care of the modding uh, or modeling on my end. But our Skinner has been hard at work, and very soon I'm going to be uploading some photos of at least one render that my Skinner has done so far of his work on the Mad Max Impala. The Impala, for those of you who might be scratching your head going, wait, doesn't this have anything to do with the movie cars? Yes, it does. The Impala in the original Mad Max, it was a well, as near as I can tell, it was an Impala, but our Skinner found a secondary type of car that the name escapes me, but it had the specific sliver triangle window after the second car door that was part of the vehicle itself. But it had hot rod flames on it. It had hot rod pipes running along the sides of the car underneath the doors, as well as your regular, four pack, what do you call it? Four pack of, or well, technically 8 pack of hot rod pipes that are usually wired into the engine. But this, of course, this particular engine for this particular car isn't actually made to mount those pipes. So technically, those pipes were just glued onto the movie car. But one of the other features of it, aside from the panties that were tied to the antenna of said car, was that it had a sculpture of a woman with her kind of her hands behind her back, although you don't see her hands, it just kind of ends, and half of a bust of a woman coming out from the car. And actually, from some angles, it looks very phallic, like an erect penis, which actually was intended by George Miller and Byron Kennedy, who were the writers and directors of that particular masterpiece of film, because it was, again, an homage to sex and violence that was, a large part of sex, violence, and car culture. So this mixes them all together, especially with what ultimately happens to the car, happens in the car and around the car, which thankfully we are spared of actually seeing the actual transpired events. But needless to say, the car gets torn apart in Mad Max. So we've got a mod that's being skinned as we speak, and while it may not be 100% to the movie, I'm not complaining. This guy's skinning work is absolutely gorgeous. And while it's not likely to look like that in San Andreas, we may get it to look like that in Grand Theft Auto 4 when I start trying to do some port work myself, if I can find a chance to do it myself with Grand Theft Auto 4. But again, future development for future time. I'm just trying to get the old mods skinned. But our skinner is starting to learn the ropes of skinning vehicles for Grand Theft Auto. He is a fast learner. He rocks. Not that my old skinner, who's still technically on the payroll, as it were, isn't a good guy. He is the guy who got our models to look so beautiful in game, the mods that we have already uh, set about. I've got to finish a banner for the mod database page because I want to make this a thing. I want to make this an official thing with credits for the people who are doing tech work, credits for the skinners, maybe attract more skinners, more modelers, and people who can just make this into the mod that the original mod started out being and unfortunately died out due to World of Warcraft. Yes, I was trying to do a mod in the heyday of World of Warcraft and I lost half my development team to that game. Dang you, Warcraft! Anyways, the point being that work behind the scenes is getting finished. Mods will be getting skinned and will be getting finished. They may take a little bit of time, but considering our Skinner's proven work in the render that he did, which I'll put on my mod page, but I'm going to cite this person because I don't want people thinking I skinned that. I cannot do texture work like this guy. He is amazing. But anyways, the point is I will probably put that in my mod page, so I will include the mod page down on the underbar for those wanting to look at one of my models with a skin on it. This person is absolutely gorgeous with the work that he's doing for us. And I don't care if it takes extra time for him to skin the rest of these models. It's worth it. This person is, what some would term the phrase a godsend, and I'm not shying away from that because while I may not believe in anyways, even though I'm an atheist, I do use old colloquials, so you'll just have to forgive that. Not that I think that it matters if you don't or not. But the fact that this person found us through chance, that he asked to be a part of it, and that I was like, you know what? I really need a second Skinner because my first Skinner is just he's busy with his girlfriend, well, fiance actually in his case, and understandably so. I do not begrudge my first and original Skinner from the mod for not being able to work on this stuff right away. But this person, he is there. He is there, as is our tech person. Our tech person is really excited to get this stuff done, and I might start doing some conversions from San Andreas myself if I can get um, the original Z modeler to work in Windows 7, which it seems like I kind of can't. It can't do the importing, exporting filters, even though the filters are included, and I can't get it into to Vice City. But I might try to find the plugin for 3D Studio Max because my student copy should be able to handle the plugin like it used to, and hopefully I could then export some of these models myself for some testing of the San Andreas mods that we already had done that were not deconverted to Vice City in Vice City. But again, I've got to find my copies of Vice City. Vice City PC was one of me and my son's first video game experience together, and definitely a treasured memory. He used to sit on my lap. I think he was 5 or 6 at the time, and he used to play around with the police cars, or he'd get into the hot rods and he'd just drive around. Sometimes he'd hit people, but he wasn't quite into the gaming that he is now, so he wasn't just mowing people down. My son was having innocent fun with a game that people would say he had no reason for playing. I digress. So either that or I've got to, go bargain bin hunting and try to find me another copy of that. I've also got to get San Andreas up and running. I've got a lot of space on my hard drive right now, and I really want to take advantage of that and get at least those 2 games, hopefully also Grand Theft Auto 4 installed because there's so many great mods for it as it is, but I want to try and get our mods into 4 as soon as possible as well. Anyways, people, that is our developing diary right now. I'm going to try to get back on track with modeling. I just have so much that's going on right now in my life right now that it's not, my nights have not been what I've needed them to be. And it's been hard for me to get the work done that I really, really want to get done, like that plane from Thunderdome. I know most people hate the movie. I don't begrudge you of it. I just don't hate it like I used to as a kid because I understand Thunderdome now. And I think that some of the vehicles, including the Mack train, is worth modeling because I think that it'll be amazing to see in mesh form and amazing to see in game, at least with San Andreas, since San Andreas had drivable trains. And I also hope to get my side mods done as well. The Hot Rod train, F7 train, that is a by-eye modeled copy of a train that was from Microsoft's Train Simulator 2003 and was locked behind some sort of Golden Pass thing that was on the train store itself. It's technically, I heard it might actually be in the game, but it's locked behind a barrier that you have to hex edit to get into, and I'm not good with hex editor at this point. But I'm going to try and see if I can get it directly out so that I can do more ref modeling off that, because some of the work that I'm doing isn't quite as accurate as I would hope it would be for an F7 engine. But can you imagine a train that's got an actual hot rod blower on top, pipes coming out the back, and a hot rod grill on front? Purple main body paint with yellow flames coming across it. Tell me, those of you who are kind of train and hot rod enthusiasts, that you wouldn't want to tear around San Andreas or maybe even Grand Theft Auto 4 in that bad boy. Just saying, I think it would be pretty damn awesome to just be tearing down the tracks on that guy. So I'm trying to get that done, as well as a few other side mods while I'm working, just because I want to get as many models done, because eventually I kind of want to get out of 3D modeling. It's one form of expression that I do in terms of my art, as is videos to some degree, but it's not the only one. And I really, really want to this is sort of unfinished business for me in 3D Studio Max, and I kind of want to finish up the models I've always wanted to do, some of which will go in games, some of which will just be for my portfolio, and just kind of be able to exit away from it for the most part, just because I'm trying to focus on my radio, film, and television degree. Although if I got some sort of thing in modeling and another studio picked me up, I wouldn't be upset about that either. Anyways, YouTube, hopefully you guys are excited as I am with the work that's being done and excited about the upcoming work. I'm going to be trying to work my butt off as much as I can, but this weekend I've got so much to get done. So anyways, take care, YouTube.